Benchmark Review 2017. In rabbits, black fur B, uppercase B, is dominant to white fur, lowercase b. Complete the following Punnett square for a female rabbit that has the genotypes little b, and a male rabbit that has the genotype big B, little b. Answer the questions. So where do we put the parents? When we know what their genotypes are, and you have a square, where do we write the parents? Yes, ma'am. Okay, so you're going to put one parent on the top. So one of the parents is little b, and the other one is big B, little b. What do I do? Okay, big B, little b on top of each box. Now what do I do? What's the other thing I do? Right, on the side. I want to put this as this color. Why did I make it different colors? I'm different. Yes, I'm different. Pull up to the seam of my different genes. One's dominant, one's recessive. Heterozygous, because I'm different. We are family. You got the same genes as me, because we're the same. Homozygous means we're the same. I got same genes. I'm homozygous. Homo is the root for the same. Hetero means different. So these guys are heterozygous, and this parent is homozygous. All right, what do I do now? What do I need to do for this Punnett square? What do I do to make it, complete it? I have to pull down the genes. So this one goes down, big B, big B. I'm going to pull down the genes, little b, little b. Then I pull across the genes. This one goes across to here. This one goes across to here, and here, and here. So we have our Punnett square complete. Now we look at the questions. Which parent is homozygous? We are family. You got the same genes as me. Homozygous. Who's homozygous? Who? The female rabbit has little b, and the male has big B, little b. Who is homozygous? The female. How do you know the female is homozygous? The phenotype is recessive. She's little b. She has the same genes. They're both recessive. First question, or a statement rather, that you're going to write down to prove that you watched this video, is that my dog Chloe, no, I want to talk about dogs Elmo. My dog Elmo was a white Pomeranian, had 2 recessive genes. She was homozygous for white fur. So that's the first thing you write down, that Miss Samuelson had a dog that was homozygous for white fur. And his name was Elmo. What is the percent chance that the offspring will have black fur? In this case, what's the percent chance? Black fur. Well, let's look. What color will this be? What color? Do we see a dominant gene there? Yes, it's black because I see a dominant gene. We're going to be black. What color is this one going to be? How do you know? It doesn't have a dominant gene. Excelente, excelente. I don't have anything that I can make white, so go with this. That's the white one. How about this guy? What color? Black. How do you know? Yes, dominant gene. How about this guy? What color? Little b, what color? It's going to be white because there's nothing there. Good. Percent chance will have black fur now. What percent chance? Well, each box is 25%. So I have 1 box and 2 boxes. What's the percent chance? 50% chance that the offspring will have black fur because I have 50% big B, little b. What's the percent chance it's going to have white fur, Arlen? 50% chance because I have little b, little b. What's the percent chance they'll be heterozygous? 50%. What's the percent chance they're going to be homozygous? 50% because there are 2 of them that are homozygous. What percent chance they're going to be homozygous dominant? What percent they're going to be homozygous dominant? What percent are they going to be homozygous dominant? Okay, next thing. My phone rang in the middle of the lesson, and the phone number was 716-229-8769. Please write that down. That is the second thing. I don't know who that is. I don't really care. Homozygous dominant, what percent? Where is their homozygous dominant? You have to have what? You'd have to have two of the same genes that were dominant. You'd have to have two big B's. What percent chance homozygous dominant? 0. Okay. Next, in pea plants, purple flowers, P is dominant to white flowers. Little p, complete the following Punnett square. Female is big P, big P. The other one is little p, little p. Let me in. Answer the questions. So we're going to put this together. Let's make this little p a different color so we can see. We can just differentiate between the two. So we're going to go down. Going down, going down, going down, going down. Going across, going across, going across, going across. Do we have any of them that are the same? No. So what is the phenotype of the female? Phenotype means physical trait. What's the phenotype of the female plant? Phenotype is physical trait. Purple. Good job. The female is big P, big P. She's purple. What's the phenotype of the male? White. He's white because phenotype means physical trait. What percent chance will the offspring have purple flowers? 50. Look at the Punnett square. Is this purple? Yes, because it has one dominant and one recessive. All you need is one dominant to be purple. Is that purple? Yes. Is this purple? Yes. Is this purple? Yes. Where are the white ones? There aren't any because we have all dominant genes. So what percent chance will they have purple flowers? 100% and no white. Now, this is something that you need to recognize. The reason why there's no white is because there's a dominant gene present. If there was some kind of mutation and this only got one little p but didn't get anything else, it would be recessive because the dominant gene masks everything. So you don't necessarily need two recessive. You just need not to have a dominant trait present. Once there's a dominant trait present, we're always going to show that trait. All right, let's look. What is the diagram to the right called? Pedigree chart. How many generations? Okay. Let's count them. First generation, second generation, third generation, and 4 generations. How is it different from a Punnett square? This actually happens. This is like a family tree. If you're a carrier, what do you look like? You're not completely, you're only half colored in. Does that mean you have the disease or you just carry one of the genes? You just carry one of the genes. So if you are all colored in, what does that mean? You have the disease. Or you have the trait that we're looking for, the recessive trait. Or the disease. If this was right-handedness, that's not a disease. Or left-handedness. If you have the trait, you're all colored in. Are you a carrier if you're all colored in? No, you're only a carrier if you don't have the disease, but you were carrying the trait. So, circles are what? Males or females? Females. Good. And males are? Squares. Squares. Good job. Children have to be connected to their parents. If you're married, this is the marriage line. So the people on the other side are not related, but these are their children. These are all their children because they're connected. So they're related to those great-grandparents up there. Are we good? Next page. Do we have any more questions on the bottom? Okay. Next page. We're going to put together this chart. Nucleus. Match it up. What is the nucleus? B. It's part of the cell where the genetic material is found. Good. How about a cell? What's a cell? Yes, basic unit of structure and functional living things. A gene is a part of the chromosome. It's a single hereditary unit. That was letter A. What is a chromosome? Yeah, it is E. In humans, we have 23 pairs, and they contain thousands of genes. DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid, but it's a large molecule. Good. Place them in order from largest to smallest. What goes the largest? Cell. What's a little bit smaller than a cell? Nucleus that houses all the what? Chromosomes, good. Then the gene, and then the DNA. Good job, good job. This diagram underneath us is showing us crossbreeding, or another word for selective breeding. So we're looking at the two dogs. One is big and strong. The other one is fast and aggressive. So we breed them together to get a bull mastiff, to get fast, strong, and aggressive, all traits together. But here's the problem. Selective breeding doesn't always give us what we want. We could get a dog that's lacking aggression and lacking strength. What are we going to do with those dogs? Nobody wants that dog. So we got to be careful. When you selectively breed, it doesn't always give you the traits that you want. You're trying to get them. Sometimes you'll get them. So what are the benefits of the bull mastiff? It's fast and aggressive and strong. What is one of the benefits of selective breeding? You get desired traits. Sometimes. Sometimes you don't. Negative, you don't get what you want because the genes might be recessive and the dominant is going to prevail. You don't get it all the time. So you could have 5 babies and 4 of them could be aggressive and 1 of them could be not so aggressive. You don't get what you want all the time. So then you're going to have to try again. Okay, match them up on the bottom. Scientists produce a genetically identical copy of a tomato plant. Genetically identical. What is that called when we make something that's genetically identical? Good. Well, genetic engineering does that if we clone it. Yes. Cloning makes it genetically identical. Cloning. The farmer chooses to breed. We're choosing to breed it. What is that called? Selective breeding it is. Good job. I'm inserting a gene from a jellyfish. That's what you guys did. GFP. Into the zebrafish. Now the zebrafish can grow. What is that one called, Chloe? Good. Genetic engineering. All righty. Let's get another question that we're going to have. I have an index card in front of me that has the following numbers. You have to write these numbers down in the video to prove that you did the video. 7, 9, 13, 8, and 10. And this will prove that you did the video. That's extra credit. Even though some people in here are writing them down when they shouldn't be. I'm just kidding. Look at the picture of the animal to the right. Identify 2 adaptations. An adaptation helps you survive. It has sharp claws. It's able to hold its prey with the sharp claws. It has a sharp beak. It's able to rip apart its food. It has wings. It has tail. It has talons. It has very good eyesight. These are all adaptations that help it survive. If it wasn't able to survive in its environment, what would happen to it? It would go extinct. The theory of natural selection states that organisms are best fit for their environment or more likely to survive and reproduce. Reproduce. Starting from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, and the fossil record is here. Sharp claws holds prey. Base your answers to the following questions on the diagram below. Which fossil layer is the oldest and how do you know? Which one's the oldest and how do you know, Jill? D, good. How do you know?
Because it is the one on the bottom.
Yes, on the bottom. There are layers that occurred on top of it. It's on the bottom. There's other layers on the top. A is the youngest. How do you know? It's closest to the top. It was laid down last. The organisms resemble the organisms of today because it was the youngest. They're more closely related to us because they are the youngest fossils. How can scientists, identify 2 ways fossils can form? They can form from amber, remember? Tar pits. They can form in an imprint, in a mold, We can find a bone. We can find an actual preserved organism in ice. And what does this evidence tell us? Fossils tell scientists how organisms have changed over time. I added this, so if I edit it, you should probably add this. Fossils tell you how organisms change over time. Chloe, you have lots of blanks. Am I going too fast? Sorry, I love you. I'll pause this. All right. The digestive system breaks down nutrients into usable form. Our skeletal system supports our organs and supports the body. Circulatory system transports, that's a key word, underline that, oxygen and food to the rest of the body. Your respiratory system takes in oxygen and removes carbon dioxide and helps keep our body undergoing homeostasis by bringing in those gases. Nervous system controls and coordinates all body's activities. You have to add something to this because I think this is missing. Reproductive system will make our sex cells, our eggs, and our sperm. The immune system is going to protect the body from pathogens or things that it's not familiar with. Our muscular system works with the skeletal system to help us undergo locomotion. It pulls on our bones. Our endocrine system makes hormones. Our excretory system removes the metabolic waste. I'll give you a second to copy this down. Check your answers. We have several different body systems that have to work together. How does your digestive system and your excretory system work together? Your body has to break down food and then it has to remove waste that we don't need. So how does your digestive system work, let's say, with your circulatory system? Your body breaks down food and your circulatory system does what to it? Delivers it, transports it to every single cell. Your respiratory system works with your circulatory system because you take in oxygen and your circulatory system delivers it. Your nervous system works with every single system because it tells every part of your body what to do. So it tells your muscular, your endocrine, your X-ray, your reproductive, everything. It's in charge of every single system. Shivering and sweating. Let's look at number 9. Are ways the body controls temperature and insulin. The processes that are described are called regulation. Or another word for regulation starts with an H is homeostasis. Please write this down, homeostasis. Homeostasis and regulation are synonyms. That means they mean the same thing. Chemical substances need to carry out the life processes. We need nutrients. Every cell in my body needs nutrients and oxygen. Boom, boom, boom. Our cells make up tissues. Our tissues make up organs. Our organs make up organ systems, and therefore we get the organism. For example, a nerve is a cell. What is a tissue? Well, it's a whole bunch of cells put together like muscle, like a piece of your heart. An organ is a whole bunch of tissue put together like your kidney or your heart. An organ system is all of the systems put together. All the parts, all the organs put together. So like for your digestive system, you have your mouth, your esophagus, your stomach, your intestines. That's your digestive system. And then finally, you have your organism. In our case, we are humans. But cats have digestive systems as well. We're 90% related to cats. We share 90% of the same DNA. We're 50% related to bananas. We share 50% of the DNA. Another way to look at this is a pyramid, an upside down pyramid. Cell, tissue, organ, organ system, organism. You can even do a circle. If I'm doing a circle, what's the biggest piece of the circle going to be? The biggest piece is going to be the organism. The organism is going to be made up of what? Organ systems. The organ systems are broken down into what? Organs. The organs are broken down into what? Tissues. Good. And the tissues are made up of cells. So you look at the different interpretations of the diagrams, and I think a lot of times we get confused when we have diagrams, how to interpret them. Okay, next. Plants. Plants have different structures like leaves, stems, and roots. And flowers. Add a flower on the top of your plant. Flower is the sexual reproduction organ. There's some things that are missing in this thing. So, here's the next thing. What was missing on the plant? That is the next question you're going to write down. So, the plant part that's missing is the flower. That's what Miss Samuelson wanted you to write as proof that you watched the whole video. All right, moving on. The leaf allows us to undergo photosynthesis. It is the place where gas exchange occurs, carbon dioxide and H2O, and oxygen, because the ultimate goal of the leaf is to make food. The food has to be transported down the phloem, but up the what? Up the xylem. These are the transport tissues and the transport organs that allow the stem to bring materials up and down. Phloem brings the food down, and the xylem brings the water and the minerals up. The stem is also a good support. The roots absorb H2O by a process of diffusion and active transport, and they also anchor the plant into the ground, so it gives it stability and support. So how is the stem like the circulatory system of an organism like a human? The stem transports materials just like the circulatory transports things. Inside the leaf, there's a chemical called chlorophyll that allows the plants to absorb sunlight. There are three parts of the seed. The embryo is this little piece right here that looks like little wiggly lines. The seed coats on the outside that protects the seed, and the cotyledon is the part of the seed that stores the food. This is the reason why the plant doesn't need sunlight when it's only a seed, because it already has stored food, doesn't have to make its own food. The two substances, a lot of us got this wrong on the test. Substance means what? It means some form of matter. Energy is not a substance. It is a compound element or mixture as a substance. So the substance would be carbon dioxide and H2O. Reproduction and development. Metamorphosis is important for us to understand. It's the life cycle. And how do we get new cells? By growth and cell division. Organisms reproduce so they don't become extinct, so they have to pass on favorable traits. Sexual reproduction causes variation. What else causes variation? Besides sexual reproduction, mutations cause variation. Asexual reproduction is one parent and the offspring are identical to the parent. Regeneration is not necessarily reproduction, it's regenerating a lost body part. But planaria regenerates their whole body when they get cut in half, but lizards only regenerate their tails. All right. Fertilization, do you remember this? Occurs when a sperm and an egg can join together to form a zygote. How many chromosomes are in the sperm of a human? 23. How many chromosomes are in the egg? 23. So in every somatic cell, every body cell, there's a combination of the sperm and egg chromosomes, which make 46. Every single cell in your body has 46 chromosomes except for the sperm and the egg. When an organism changes, and they have a series of changes over their lifetime, that is called their life cycle or their metamorphism. This is the life cycle. Half of the genes are given to the offspring. So if cattle have 60 chromosomes, how many are in the cattle's sperm? 30 in the sperm, 30 in the egg cell. How many are in the cattle's body cell? In the cell of their liver? 60 is in the liver. Because the only thing that differs is the sex cells. Sexual reproduction. You have two parents, and there's variation. So next to the two parents, I want you to write variation. The organisms are not the same. They could have similar traits, but they're not the same. 24, asexual reproduction is only one parent, and the organisms are the same. They're identical. Identical offspring. What, babe? Fission is identical twins, which is asexual reproduction when we divide. Yep. Fission is division and budding is my friend. Sperm is the male reproductive cell. Egg is the female cell. Cancer is uncontrolled cell division. Budding. Mama had a baby and the baby budded off. Asexual reproduction is when parent creates a bud. It's going to start to grow off. So here is the parent. And then the baby starts to grow off. And then all of a sudden it pops off. That's the bud. The budding can also happen in hydra. Look over here to the right. There is hydra. The baby's right here. And then it comes off later on. Comes off. Here's another picture. Fission. Fission is division. 2 equal cells. It's binary fission, or in other words, we can call it mitosis if it happens in our cells. Identical twins come from division of a single fertilized egg. 1 egg during cell division divided. Fraternal twins, there's going to be how many eggs? 2. So if identical twins are identical, fraternal twins are similar. They're variations. A duck, a fish, a human. Internal and external fertilization. A duck is going to have internal fertilization, but external development because they lay eggs. Fish are going to have external fertilization and external development. If you don't remember this, we want to add this. Humans are internal and internal. Internal fertilization and internal development. If you don't remember the difference, you need to add them. Are we good? Internal development and internal fertilization happens in a human. First is fertilization and then development. So ducks have internal fertilization. That means the sperm and the egg have to meet inside the body. But the babies will be born and they'll develop outside. The only way they can develop outside is if they're in some kind of protective shell or if they're born in water. So shell or water is generally where they're going to be externally developing. So like a fish and a bird have external development. Snakes, some of them have internal development. All right. That is the conclusion of your benchmark review. You really need to look at all these pieces so you know exactly what to do and study. If there are some parts that you're not sure of, you have to go over them.